I take my makeup very serious. I probably started wearing makeup actually when I was like 13. I love makeup. It's like so therapeutic for me. On meet day, I usually start my makeup routine with moisturizer and oil because I feel like that just gives me a good smooth base. The wintertime gets dry too, so I like to have my skin nice and moisturized before I put all my makeup on. The next thing I do in my makeup routine is I put a primer on and then I put bronzing drops on. I try to make myself look as tan as I can. I actually go to the tanning beds, which I know is really bad for you, but during meet season, I'm not trying to be in a leotard looking pasty. A primer, basically, it just kind of makes your skin glowy and it helps everything else that you put on after go on smoothly. It doesn't look patchy or splotchy or anything. I knew I loved gymnastics because I tried other sports. I did dance and soccer, and every time I tried something new, my parents were like, "You hate this." I was like, "Can I please quit?" They never let me quit because they were like, "We don't quit. We finish our season out." And then when I started gymnastics, I was going home, flipping on the couch, begging for them to buy me a beam. Pretty much just couldn't stop. I was doing headstands while I was watching TV. I always felt very passionate about it. Next, I do blush. I start with a liquid blush. I put that on. I start all of my makeup with liquid products, and then I go back over it when I'm finished with the liquid products to set it with powder products. I think that that's pretty common. I don't know. I've just done makeup for a while, and I feel like that's what has always worked best for me. Especially during a meet, you're sweating, your makeup is on for probably 8 hours or so. So I feel like when I do that, it helps it stay on much longer. I grew up in Dover, Delaware. Growing up, my club gym was actually an hour away from my house. In order to pursue an elite career where I really wanted to take it serious, you know, obviously an Olympic dream, it just wasn't feasible to sustain that dream without training 35 hours a week. And that wasn't going to be possible with driving after school, a normal school day, an hour away. So I actually started homeschooling in second grade and did that until my freshman year of high school. My parents were great and really supported me in that decision. They knew how much I loved it and how driven I was. So they really trusted me throughout that process. Now that I'm older, I truly can appreciate how much they did for me, and I tell them all the time how grateful I am. And now that I'm here, this is just such a blessing, and everything I ever did actually paid off. So I couldn't be more grateful to them. The next step in my makeup routine is bronzer. This is actually contour because it's cream. And I use this because I love looking tan. I feel like it just kind of pulls the whole makeup look together. A lot of times after my makeup routine is done, I'll go back in with this just because when you're on TV, it helps your face pop. I just think it makes you look good. Obviously, I had very big aspirations from a very young age. Making the U.S. national team was my ultimate goal. College was always in the back of my mind. I grew up in a pretty good gym where a lot of colleges would come and scout the older girls. And from there, I started getting college mail probably in like 5th or 6th grade. And I knew I really wanted to go to a big SEC school. Alabama was the most memorable team that I ever watched growing up on TV for gymnastics. That's kind of how the whole process of me being young and deciding that I wanted to have a collegiate career happened. Next in my routine, I use concealer. I put this under my eyes and then any blemishes I have, and I use a brush to put this on because when I was younger, I would use a beauty blender, and one of my friends started using a brush and I thought that it looked really good, so now this is just the way I do it. The most significant challenges I've faced in gymnastics probably are injuries. I have had 4 surgeries now throughout my career, and every single time I had to get surgery, it always felt like it was at the worst possible time. But coming out of those and recovering and getting back into the sport, I feel like are actually some of the most valuable lessons that I've learned. It really takes you back when you have a setback like that to be grateful for your ability to do this sport and being so passionate about something, because some people don't find that passion until later on in life or ever. My next step in my routine is bronzer, I just put this all over all of the contour that I put on. I don't do my makeup before a normal practice usually. I will if I feel like I'm gonna have a bad day or something, just because I feel like, you know, look good, feel good. I feel like on meet days I pound everything on because I want it to be noticeable in pictures and look my best. But on an everyday look, I kind of just throw a bunch of stuff on: blush, contour, and concealer. And I also usually keep fake lashes on so I don't have to worry about mascara. I just like the way they look, and I hate mascara because I feel like it takes forever to put on. Now I go in with a powdered blush. I like using one with a shimmer because I feel like it just highlights my cheekbones. I like a good glow. So I just put that on over what I already put my cream blush on. Next, I fill in my eyebrows. I use a brow pencil, and I just kind of very lightly go underneath the eyebrows just to give it a little bit more color and define the shape. And then I go in with a clear brow lift, and I use my little spoolie brush, and I kind of just brush my brows up and shape them how I want. So, and I feel like the brow pencil kind of blends out through the rest of my eyebrow after I do this step. So I definitely look back on pictures of myself, even from like senior year of high school, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what were you thinking? Like, what were you doing? Who let you leave the house like that? I just think that I learned a lot more through like watching videos and being with my friends that are good at makeup and watching how they do it, using different products like nicer brands or even drugstore brands that you just find like really good little steals for. I just think that it's a lot of practice. The next step in my routine is highlighter. I do this last because I feel like the powder products kind of get rid of the shine. So I use a liquid highlighter, and I just put that on my high points of my cheekbones, and I use my finger to blend this in. I know a lot of people don't really love that, but I've learned that this is probably the best for me. And then I put it on the high points of my nose as well. I think of it like an exclamation point, so like the tip of my nose and then the bridge of it. You don't connect them. And then I go over it very lightly with a powder highlighter just to set it in. We definitely have fun when we're in here getting ready for a meet day. We usually have music connected to the speaker, and we're all just listening. A lot of people are making TikToks, dancing around. It's really a good time. It's like a good little bonding experience, and I think it helps everybody get out of their heads before we have to go do what we have to do. We're all together with all my best friends, and we get to have a good time in here. Okay, so the last step in my makeup routine is my lips, and I go in with this lip liner, and I just outline the outside of my lips. I usually put a tint on, just a lip stain, so that when I'm doing gymnastics and, you know, sweating, like I said, it doesn't really all come off. This kind of stays if you lick your lips or anything like that. And then the last step of it is just my gloss. I just like to put a good little gloss on. I think that our sport is definitely very much, you know, you're worried about the pretty leotard. What team is wearing what Leo this weekend? Bedazzled leotards, and do our makeup super pretty with cool braids and bows. And I think that also plays into us being very close. Clothes, makeup, just opinions on stuff like that, because we really do value all of that from one another. These girls are my sisters that I can go to if I'm having a really bad day and all I want to do is cry, and they'll snap me out of it or be a shoulder for me to cry on. So we're all just there for each other, and I don't know that I'll ever have something like that again after this. The final step of my get ready with me for a meet day is my setting spray. I just spray this all over my face. It's kind of like hairspray, but when it makes your face feel sticky and you can't breathe, that's how you know all of your makeup's gonna stick through a long meet day. To hold your breath for a couple of seconds, that's how you know it's working. I mean, I've done this since I was 4. I'm 20 now. I've been having the realization that this isn't going to be my life much longer in the grand scheme of things. I definitely do cherish every moment more, knowing that this is all going to come to an end. But at the same time, I am excited for the future. It's bittersweet.